सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. ॐ.
Verse 41. When the pure effulgent Atman is covered by tamas, when the light is taken away, being deluded, the fool takes the body as the self. Then comes desire, anger, from the non-gratification of desire, and then rajas, whose name is scattering. This decentralizing force comes and brings pain. Verse 42. With these two forces, rajas and tamas, comes bondage to the individual, deluded by which, thinking this body to be the self, the fool wanders. Verse 43. Taking this world as a tree, the seed of this tree of the world is tamas. The idea of the self as the body is the sprout of that tree. Attachment is the tender leaf, the actions the water, the pranas, body, the trunk. The different senses are the different branches. The objects of the senses are the flowers. Pain is the fruit, and the human soul is the bird that lives on this tree and eats the fruits of various sufferings from different kinds of actions. Verse 44. From faith in the scriptures comes fidelity to one's own duty, and by the performance of that duty comes the purification of the heart. There only is the knowledge of the Supreme Self, and by that knowledge comes the destruction of the tree of the world, root and all. Verse 45. As the blade of grass is separated from its sheath, you must separate the seer from the seen, and reduce everything to the Atman, directly, not by imagination. And one who dwells in the Atman is free.
The self is often referred to as existing in the heart, or the cave of the heart, I've heard many times. Why is this?
Yes, there is, this started from Ramana Maharishi mostly, and a lot of people, they believe that the self have a location in the cavity of the heart. But this is a poetic expression, and also it is the feeling from the standpoint of the Jivatma, of the apparent somebody. In reality, the self, with capital S, cannot have any location. The self is beyond any space and time. So how could possibly have a location? Space and time also are concepts. So Atman or Brahman or the self is beyond any concept and beyond any space and time, any location. But most of the times we have this feeling, especially if somebody is very emotional, that is somewhere in the center of the chest or in the location of the heart, especially if there are people who are very intensely emotional. There are others who can feel their so-called self in the brain or in the skull. The people who are mostly more mental style. But anyways, the self cannot have a location. This is the straight and direct approach of Advaita Vedanta.
Sure. Thank you very much. Cheryl's raised her hand, so she can...
Yes, Cheryl, please go ahead.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Along the lines of the heart, there was a lot of symbolic information in the reading, and was looking for something a little bit more specific. So it says, from faith in the scriptures comes fidelity to one's own duty. And by the performance of that duty comes the purification of the heart. Can you elaborate on that some more, please?
Yes, of course. It is about the Dharma Sastra and following a dharmic lifestyle as per the instructions of the Dharma Sastra. So we have this sequence. We start with Karma Yoga, and we do purification of the mind, Chitta Shuddhi, it is called in Sanskrit. Then we go to Upasana, which is any kind of meditation with Saguna Brahman, a Brahman with a form, whether it is Krishna or Rama or Shiva or Devi. And then when we have enough purification of the mind, Chitta Shuddhi, and we have finished the Karma Yoga preparation and the Upasana, then we can enter the Jnana Yoga path. So it is, most of the times it is sequential. We can see that also in Bhagavad Gita, where the 6 first chapters are dealing with Karma Yoga. Then we have 6 chapters which are dealing with Upasana. And then we have the last 6 chapters which are dealing with Jnana Yoga. On the other hand, if there are some Jivatmas who were not so able to complete the process of Chitta Shuddhi with Karma Yoga and Upasana in previous janmas, in previous dream lifetimes, then they have most of the time the desire and the wish to continue Karma Yoga and Upasana along with Jnana Yoga, which is perfectly fine. The same with those who feel not so comfortable and cannot grasp very easily Jnana Yoga and the scriptures of Jnana Yoga. They can, of course, they can combine with Karma Yoga and Upasana in order to be able to be completely purified, to have a complete purification of the mind, or Chitta Shuddhi, as it is called. But please feel free to ask for further clarification if you wish.
Oops. Thank you. So then how would you describe purification of the mind?
Very nice. So we have what we call in the scriptures the samskaras, in other name, the vrittis, waves in the mind, and all the thinking process and all the predispositions of the mind. So we have a lot of desires and a lot of attachments due to previous lifetimes as well. And all these are coming along in the current janma, in the current lifetime, in order to be exhausted. So we have the prarabdha karma, which needs to be exhausted in this lifetime. And the only way to be exhausted is through what we call pleasant experiences, which are due to papam, the bad karma, and also punyam, which brings the pleasant experiences. And this is the only way that you can exhaust, somebody can exhaust the prarabdha karma, what we call the destiny. And then we have the condition in the mind. The mind can be a fine medium, and it is in a conducive state in order to be able to grasp the teachings from the lips of the guru through Sravana, Mananam, and Nididhyasana. So actually this is the entire process which leads to moksha, self-realization. it's a prerequisite to have enough purification of the mind, citta shuddhi. And then only we can continue and enter the path of jnana yoga, the path of self-realization.
Thank you.
Please feel free to clarify more if you need, whether now or later.
In the past, you spoke about being the observer. So how does that play into the purification of the mind?
Yes, very nice question. Most of the times, an apparent somebody, a Jivatma, is acting in a mechanical way, a complete robotic activity. And this is something that can bring a lot of problems. Because when you are not able to be observed, to be in a state of observing the mental activity and all your actions, then it is very easy to fall again and again into this trap of being more and more robotic, a mechanical being. So when you are an observer and you are in a complete awareness, whatever you do, whether it is walking, eating, drinking, working, dealing with other people, and whatever you do, if you are in a state of complete awareness as much as possible, then you have the ability to stop this process of a mechanical lifestyle, which also is very easy to produce a lot of papam, a lot of bad karma. So it is very, very useful when we are all the time in a state of a good observer. We are in a state of full awareness of whatever we do, whatever we are thinking, and whatever emotions we have, and also whatever our dealings with other people and the other beings and the entire our connection and our relationship with the entire universe, apparent universe, of course. Then we are able to stop this process of a mechanical lifestyle, which will maintain and will sustain the producing of bad karma, which is called papam.
Thank you. So you just said, so this is something I've been confused about. So you said with this awareness, then you can notice if you're suddenly doing something that mechanical person. And so recently I noticed that I didn't like what my personality was doing. Its response was negative towards something about money. And so I thought, that just doesn't matter. Why is my body responding to this situation that's going to cause this lack of money? And so then I started thinking about, well, wait, do I have two aspects of my mind? One that's, because that seems like my mind, not my soul. Or so what's watching the thoughts and being critical of my own behavior? It's like there's, it's like the good guy, the bad guy. I've got two of me going on. And then I started thinking, wait a minute, do I need to pull back from that? Is that all still just mind? What's happening there?
Yes, in reality, our true nature is that we are Brahman. There is only that, and you are that. Nothing else ever existed. But from the standpoint of Chidabhasa, or reflected consciousness, where it is a hybrid phenomenon, it is a combination of an apparent somebody, the mind of an apparent somebody, an apparent Jivatma, with Brahman, with Atman. Then we have what we call the reflected consciousness. So the apparent somebody appears with the mind and can reflect what we call Atman, or the pure consciousness. And then this somebody starts to appear as a being, as a distinct being from other beings. And then you have this false notion that you are this distinct being, other and complete distinct from other beings. But in reality, upon research, you will not be able to find this being anywhere, because it does not exist as a distinct person. It is only an illusion that there are different persons. And what is aware of the thinking process and the emotions and the activity of an apparent person, it is what we call the reflected consciousness. And as I mentioned earlier, the reflected consciousness, it is a hybrid phenomenon. It can appear only if we have this combination of Atma and Anatma. But by being aware, or by trying to be fully in a state where you don't do anything on a mechanical basis, then you are able to distinguish that what you believed until now that you are a person, it's not the truth. And what you really are is this Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness. And then what we call Saksi Chaitanyam, or the witnessing consciousness, is starting to be the most powerful component of our, let's call it, daily life. So previously there was mechanical activity, and there was an activity that was without any control or any way to stop it or to direct it to something which is worthy, or something which is really beneficial, or even auspicious for the entire humanity. Now we are able to do so. We are able, when we are fully in witnessing consciousness, we are able to stop, we are able to control, we are able to direct this apparent being that previously we thought that it is our nature or our true self. And gradually it comes that we can also recognize that have never ever existed as well. That this person that is acting like a protagonist in a movie cannot be our true nature. And it is only an object in this movie. It is only a protagonist. This person, this figure, this character is only somebody who is an actor, and we have nothing to do with this actor. And it is like you are in the movies, in the cinema, and you are watching the protagonist, and you are sure 100% that this protagonist, whatever troubles or whatever problems he or she may have, cannot affect you by any means, because you are just sitting there in the cinema and you are just watching. So we have always to remember the vision of Advaita Vedanta, the Upanishads, that our true nature is consciousness, which cannot be affected by anything in the worldly of the worldly things, or even what we call our small self. It is just there all the time and just watching, and cannot be affected. And gradually we will be sure that this is the true source of security, of happiness, of bliss, of peace, and only that is worthy of our investment and of our interest. Because the person, first of all, does not exist, and secondly, when we believe that we are a person, then all the problems are maintaining themselves. We sustain this false notion that we are this person. this distinct being. And by this way, we continue to reinforce our habits, our patterns, our attachments, and all our false notions. And then by itself also it is creating more and more a no-exit mode. So we have to change, we have to remove this false notion that we are a person, an apparent being or an apparent ego, and to replace it that we are this Brahman, this infinite, impersonal, pure consciousness. And one of the best ways to do so and to accomplish this is by trying to be a good observer as much as possible, as often as possible, and focusing in this weakness in consciousness, in Saksi Chaitanyam. Then all the process will be turned out to be conducive for moksha, for self-realization. And of course, the opposite, if we continue to give power and maintaining the false person, the false ego.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else?
Namaste. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's a wonderful joy to be here.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. One question, which you probably already answered before, but my specific question was the path of bhakti and worshipping the Saguna Brahman like Krishna. Is that like a stepping stone to self-realization of being the impersonal Brahman?
Yes, it is. This is a very important topic and question, and thousands of books have been written about this topic. And it is about recognizing the path of having three different aspects. So bhakti is the atmosphere. It is the devotion, the atmosphere which is conducive to walk the path of self-realization, moksha. Without bhakti, without devotion to the Guru Parampara, the scriptures, you cannot attain self-realization or moksha. It will be only an academic pursuit. You can be a wonderful scholar. You can be a professor of the Upanishads, of Advaita Vedanta, but you will never be able to attain self-realization. So bhakti is a prerequisite, but bhakti alone, on the other hand, it can never be enough by itself. So as Krishna is offering to us in the Bhagavad Gita, it offers 6 chapters about karma yoga, the first 6 chapters. Then we have 6 chapters about upasana, which is about worshipping and meditating on a Saguna Brahman with a kind of a form like Shiva, Krishna, Rama, Devi. And then we have the path of Jnana Yoga, which is the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So all 3 together cannot be separated. Now, most of the people, they have already completed this path of karma yoga and upasana in previous janmas, in previous lifetimes, under the guidance of a guru and following the scriptural study, Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana, following a dharmic lifestyle, and so on and so forth. And a lot of them are able in this current lifetime to follow and enter the path of Jnana Yoga. There are others who have who didn't completed the process of karma yoga and upasana, and they can do they can do it in parallel with Jnana Yoga, especially those who cannot grasp very easily the Jnana Yoga scriptures, the Advaita Vedanta scriptures or the Upanishads. Is highly recommended to combine Karma Yoga and Upasana in parallel. But those who feel that they don't really need this aspect of Karma Yoga and Upasana, and they just want to fully dedicate the rest of their lives in the study and in Sravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam, under the guidance of a competent guru in a guru parampara, then also it is possible. But bhakti is, of course, something which cannot be stopped in any phase or in any point of the path. So even if you have already completed in previous lifetimes or in this lifetime the prerequisite of Chitta Shuddhi, purification of the mind, even if you have completed this and you have a very conducive mind, a very purified mind, ready to grasp and ready to absorb the Advaita Vedanta teachings with ease, you should never stop to have this conducive atmosphere of bhakti. And what really means bhakti? It means that you are worshipping your guru, you are worshipping the guru parampara, you are having respect, you show respect to the guru and the guru parampara, you show respect to the scriptures, and especially Advaita Vedanta scriptures, the Upanishads. You live a lifestyle of morality and as per the Dharma Sastram instructions. And in general, you have this conducive atmosphere of bhakti. So it is something which is always there and should always be there and should always accompany the procedures of the path of self-realization. I don't know if I covered your question, so you can.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Clarify.
Thank you so much. That really clarifies everything for me. So
okay,
yeah,
you are
yeah.
most welcome. Also,
thank you.
later on, if you want to clarify something more, you are very welcome.
Of course, namaste, and
Namaste.
thank you again. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Verse 45, in his commentary, Swamiji says the following. I haven't got a question, but I'd like you to elaborate on it if you can.
Sure.
If you would like.
Of course.
It's, resolving the world into Atma means understanding there is no anatma separate from the Atma. This understanding that anatma is mithya is called dissolution of anatma. It is a pure understanding. Even when I experience the world, I can resolve the world by this awareness and say, there is no world separate from Atma. Very
yes,
interesting.
actually the summary of that in one phrase, if we could put it like that, is that there is only that and you are that. And then whatever appears and disappears are only modulations of this apparent and supreme consciousness. So there is no any distinctions between what appears and disappears and consciousness itself. And an example that I can share with you is the ocean. We can say that there are waves in the ocean, but actually the waves do not have any distinct existence other than water or the ocean itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we have the waves as a superimposition. We say these are waves in the surface of the ocean. But by more research, by doing some research, if there are actually anything like waves, we can never have something distinct such as waves. We can only and always find the water itself or ocean itself. And so the same with whatever appears in what we call anatma, in atma. So atma is consciousness and anatma is whatever appears and disappears in consciousness. And whatever appears and disappears in consciousness, we call it mithya, which means something which has no permanent existence. It comes and goes, appears, disappears. It doesn't have any distinct existence. And also it doesn't have inherent existence as by itself. It is only everything. It is only a superimposition, only nama rupa, names and forms, or concepts, or labels, upon this infinite supreme consciousness. Another example can be the dream in the night. Whatever appears in the dream in the night, it doesn't have any inherent existence, isn't it?
Yeah.
It appears and disappears as a modulation in you consciousness. And then you wake up in the morning and you recognize that whatever appeared and disappeared in your dream in the night was not really there. It was just an appearance. It didn't have any inherent existence as such in the dream. So the same with the big dream. Everything appears and disappears in you, the infinite consciousness, and it is only a modulation of this consciousness, of this infinite consciousness. And even what you call you as a person, you as Subodhananda, is just a name and form, just a superimposition or only a label. There is no anybody or anything other than consciousness itself. Another example can be the signal, the electromagnetic signal that is landing in our television, let's say. The same electromagnetic signal can appear as somebody who is saying the news, sharing the news, and later on, the same electromagnetic signal can appear as a beautiful forest or another something else, another picture or another phenomenon in the television itself. But we know that there is only the electromagnetic signal that is landing in the television device, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's exactly the same with whatever appears in front of us. It seems that it is out there, and it seems for a lot of people that, most of the people, they feel that they are behind their nose or behind their eyes inside the skull, and out there appears the apparent universe and the apparent beings and the apparent objects. But upon further research and with the help of Advaita Vedanta and the scriptures and with the help of a guru and the guru parampara, we can do research and we can really we can really fully understand that we cannot be located inside the body or inside the skull. And we don't have any location, actually. And location itself is only a concept. And space and time and all these are just concepts. So this is the problem, that most of the people, they believe that their location is inside the body. There is an apparent being inside the body. And out there are all the distinct beings, the distinct objects, and the apparent universe. and themselves are just a part, a tiny part of this universe, the apparent universe. But Advaita Vedanta comes and sharing with us and give us this wake-up call. Please do research. Study with me. Try to do research with me. Me, the Upanishads. Me, the Guru. Me, the Guru Parampara. Me, the scriptures in general. Come and do research with us. And there will appear a day or a supreme spiritual mature stage or state where you will be 1,000,000%, 1,000,000,000,000% sure that you have never been located somewhere. On the contrary, whatever you see and whatever you perceive as something which is out there is only an illusion. Actually, everything appears and disappears in you, consciousness, and there is only consciousness. And again, if we want to take it even more profound, there is consciousness only when we have the Chidabhasa, the reflected consciousness, when we have this combination or the hybrid phenomenon of Atma together with Anatma. Only then there is an apparent somebody who can speak about consciousness. If there is an apparent somebody, and prior to the apparent somebody, then who will be there to speak about consciousness or being conscious of something?
Nobody.
Nobody. So even consciousness is a concept, but it is a much more profound concept than to believe in the concept that you are a person or a tiny human being as part of an infinite universe or universes. But please feel free, as of course everybody, apparent everybody, to ask for any clarification. Always feel free.
So these examples, for example, there's no way that's a superimposition. There's only water. Sacchidananda can understand this, but how to understand it at a level that it changes your behavior, or understand it radically. For example, just briefly, I'll give an example. Like if you have a lucid dream, then in the lucid dream, you profoundly realize that it's just mind, it's just consciousness, or it's completely ethereal.
Yes.
It's not very superficial. It's like So how to do this in the real world?
Yeah, very nice question. One of the best ways to go towards this direction is to be, as I mentioned earlier, as much as possible focusing in Sacchidananda, in the witnessing consciousness, the real you. Because then, the more you are focusing on you as Sacchidananda, as the witnessing consciousness, the more you will reinforce the right notion that I'm this Sacchidananda, this witnessing consciousness, rather than the being or the human being or this person or this ego that previously I thought that I am. Because if you are acting always in a mechanical mode, you cannot create like this a window or space in order for you to recognize that you are Sacchidananda, the witnessing consciousness.
Yeah.
The only way to create this space for recognition and conviction, even at a later stage, that you are this witnessing consciousness, is by being focusing as much as possible into this, your true nature, your real nature. Other than that, secondary is to make use of all the prescriptions as such from the scriptures and the Guru Parampara. You become a member of a Guru Parampara. You try to be as often as possible into the company, satsanga, of an authentic Guru, who himself was a Sishya, a student or a follower of another Guru, of a Guru Parampara. Then you try to spend as much time as possible with him. Then you try to do as much as possible Sravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. And even more, you try to live and to have a dharmic lifestyle which can offer a conducive atmosphere for all of the previous. So this is the summary of the entire path of self-realization. If you are able to follow these instructions, then it is a real speed up, fast track, walking or running even into the path to self-realization. You will be a speed runner for self-realization if you can follow all of these instructions without forgetting even one of the recipe. It's just a recipe. You need to follow all the constituents of the recipe, and then you will be amazed with the result. You will not believe that so fast you have what we call aha moments. It's really like that. They will come many times in your day and you say, wow, I thought I'm inside the skull. I thought I'm inside behind my nose, inside this skull. Now I feel expansion. I feel that I cannot have any location, and everything appears and disappears in me, the witnessing consciousness. You will recognize, you will have complete recognition and conviction on a permanent base in a mature state. And then you will be able to see, to fully understand, profoundly understand that everything just appearing and disappearing in you. There is nobody else other than you. There is only you. Not you, Subodhananda, of course, you, the supreme impersonal consciousness. But it needs all these prerequisites. It needs the following all these instructions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, most welcome. So what is the time? Maybe we need to close it for tonight.
It's 2 minutes past 8.
Okay, let's close it for tonight. Please feel free to come up with your questions, and even you can bring your understanding in a form of a paragraph, let's say, and you can we can discuss if that is as per the vision of Advaita Vedanta and VIVEKACUDAMANI or not. So it doesn't need to be only in the form of a question. It can be also in a form of a paragraph that you share with us, and we can all together, all the apparent ones of us, we can discuss and we can check if whether it is like that or not. So thank you for coming. Have beautiful next days until our next group satsanga. Namaste and love and blessings to you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
See you all next time.
Thank you, Andrew.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः